The story begins by showing the condition of a city in Spain, where a horrifying disaster eventually occurs. This disaster causes extraordinary destruction and wipes out almost all humans in the world. Before all of that happens, a boy named Daidac is seen trying to fix a tractor while listening to a national radio broadcast. From the radio, it is reported that a solar storm phenomenon is hitting the Earth, causing temperatures to rise drastically and many satellites to be damaged. On the other hand, a woman named Alba is recording a vlog about her activities. Alba then goes into a cave to meet her father, a climate change researcher.
This study of mine will look after you.
After that, Alba helps bring her father's work results to the market. There, she meets Daidac and his mother, who are looking after their shop. Not long after, flashes of light appear in the sky from various directions, making the animals panic and become frightened. When they arrive home, Alba's father says goodbye to go to Barcelona to submit his research to the headquarters. He has no idea at all that a major disaster is about to happen. In the afternoon, while Alba is getting some fresh air, she sees Daidac being bullied by 3 young men. Daidac is even thrown into the lake. Realizing that Daidac cannot swim, Alba immediately jumps into the lake to save him without hesitation. At the same time, the sky suddenly turns even redder and an extremely hot solar storm occurs. However, Alba and Daidac, who are in the water, are unaware of the disaster. Only seconds after they manage to get back to land, Alba sees flames and ash spreading everywhere. The sight shocks her, while Daidac becomes hysterical when he sees that his mother is burned to death along with her shop. Sometime later, Alba takes Daidac into the cave to get her father's emergency supplies. They decide to rest there for a while. The next morning, they continue their journey to Alba's house. When they arrive, Alba is shocked because her house in the countryside has also been destroyed. She tries to contact her father, who has not returned, but there is no signal at all. Daidac then tries to turn on the TV and radio, but none of them work. They realize that the telecommunication network is completely down. Alba then charges her phone using solar power and invites Daidac to go to the city to look for people who might still be alive. Unfortunately, all they find is a destroyed city and the foul smell of victims affected by the disaster. In the middle of that situation, Daidac takes a rifle from a police officer, but Alba forbids him because she thinks the weapon is useless now. They then look for a motorcycle that can still be used. However, Daidac pushes Alba before she's ready, causing her to fall and get pierced by a sharp piece of metal. When they arrive home, Alba treats her wound using whatever medical equipment is available, without realizing that she is at risk of getting tetanus. A few days later, because her wound is not treated properly, Alba's condition gets worse. She has a high fever and her wound looks more severe. In a weak state, Alba tells Daidac that she needs an antibiotic injection. Hearing that, Daidac insists on going out to find it even though it is already midnight, and Alba tries to forbid him because she is worried about his safety. After hours of walking through the dark and silent city, Daidac finally manages to find antibiotics. He immediately returns and injects it into Alba, who is already unconscious at that time. While waiting for Alba to wake up, Daidac goes to his mother's shop, which is now nothing but ruins. There, he cannot hold back his tears because he misses his mother. After that, he continues to the workshop where he used to play and takes some tools that he thinks can still be used to survive. A few days later, Alba finally regains consciousness. Daidac immediately hugs his teacher with happiness, feeling relieved that he does not have to live alone in this destroyed world. Their days are filled with efforts to survive. Alba focuses on planting vegetables, while Daidac helps as much as he can. Alba also takes the initiative to raise a white flag in the hope that it can be seen by a rescue team. Besides that, Alba regularly records their activities. One morning, Daidac wakes up and panics when he sees bloodstains on the bed. He immediately approaches Alba, who is washing clothes. Alba then explains that she is on her period, something that every woman experiences.
No sé. Para. It's más of a...
After it is explained, Daidac becomes curious about Alba's item. but she forbids him from touching that personal item because he is not old enough to understand it. Day by day passes, and they survive as best as they can. Their relationship becomes closer. Months and years go by without them realizing it, until they have finally lived together for years. Daidac has now grown into an adult man with a strong build, something that makes Alba feel amused seeing the change in Daidac, who used to be just a little boy. One day, while Alba is watering the plants and Daidac is keeping watch around the area, he is stunned seeing Alba, who looks so beautiful in his eyes. That makes his feelings start to change. After that, Daidac decides to go to the workshop to fix the tractor. There, his heart is still pounding, remembering what he has just seen. The next day, Daidac brings the repaired tractor home. Alba is surprised to see that Daidac, who she used to teach at school, has now become an adult man who is able to do many things on his own. Realizing that the rescue team will most likely never come, they decide to go to Barcelona to look for Alba's father, who might still be alive. With the tractor that Daidac repaired, they can easily move the wrecked cars blocking the road. During the trip, they also stop several times to take fuel from other vehicles. The next morning, they begin to enter the city center and once again see the same destruction as their previous home. Alba tries to contact her father, but still fails. That makes her very sad and start to believe that her father has passed away. After going around and finding no one, they stop by a stadium in Barcelona. Because Daidac idolizes the Barcelona team, he immediately plays soccer on the field, while Alba records him from a distance. When Daidac scores a goal, he celebrates by lifting his shirt in front of Alba. She is once again stunned seeing his body and accidentally drops her phone. On a quiet night accompanied by light rain, they finally decide to be together because the feelings they have for each other can no longer be held back. After spending a few days in Barcelona and still not finding anyone, they choose to settle on the edge of the beach. A few weeks later, Alba tells Daidac that she is pregnant. Hearing the news, Daidac feels very happy because they have managed to continue life. While waiting for their child to be born, Alba keeps learning about how to give birth and raise a child. Daidac always takes care of Alba with full attention and shows his love to her while she is carrying their child. A few months later, Alba finally gives birth to her first child, with Daidac faithfully by her side.
Respira.
¡Ya respira!
Because their child is a boy, they agree to name him Kai. The next day, while Alba is breastfeeding Kai, Daidac suddenly asks to taste what their child is drinking. After trying it, Daidac says that it is the most delicious drink he has ever tasted. Not long after, their attention turns to the sea when they see a sailboat passing by. Alba spontaneously screams for help, hoping that there are still other people alive. On the other hand, Daidac does not seem to want the presence of strangers in the middle of his family, but Alba keeps insisting, until Daidac finally takes a weapon just in case. Unexpectedly, they find an old man on the shore who turns out to still be breathing. After his wounds are treated, the man, whose name is Mendy, thanks them and asks for permission to hug both of them.
Només necessito uns dies.
Mendy admits that all this time he thought he was the only one who survived the great disaster. He then tells his experience when the ship's engine broke down and he was forced to drop anchor. A huge firestorm hit his ship until he fell into the sea. For several days, he tried to survive while fixing his ship. Since then, Mendy begins sharing his knowledge about sailing and farming with Daidac. That makes Alba feel that Mendy is very similar to her father. One day, Daidac starts to feel jealous seeing how close Alba is with Mendy. His suspicion is proven when he catches the old man peeking at Alba while she is breastfeeding. Mendy argues that he only wanted to give honey harvested from his home island, which he says can improve the quality of breast milk. Even so, Daidac remains angry and tells Mendy to leave immediately, especially since his ship has already been repaired. In the end, Mendy follows Daidac's request, but before leaving, he invites Alba and Daidac to attend a small party on his ship as a sign of gratitude. Without waiting for Daidac's permission, Alba immediately accepts the offer. That night, Daidac and Alba go to Mendy's ship while bringing Kai. The three of them watch a movie, and the night feels very special. But the next morning, Daidac wakes up and realizes that Mendy has taken them away from the mainland. Without warning, Mendy hits Daidac until he falls into the sea. Seeing that Daidac is not drowning, Alba immediately throws a life buoy and jumps in to save him. But unexpectedly, Mendy runs away while taking Kai. The incident leaves Alba and Daidac filled with sadness and anger after realizing that Mendy is actually a fraud. After thinking it through, they decide to take back their son whom they fought so hard for. For several days, the two of them prepare themselves, search for the island that might be Mendy's place of living, and get a ship ready while learning navigation. Alba then gets a clue from a certain flower that Mendy usually uses to produce honey. They immediately sail toward the island where the flower grows, hoping that Mendy is indeed there. After hours of sailing, they finally find Mendy's ship. But since the ship is empty, they decide to go ashore while bringing a rifle. Not long after, they find an old building. Suddenly, they see Mendy come out to harvest honey. Seeing the opportunity, Daidac is in charge of watching Mendy while Alba goes down to the lower part of the warehouse. There, Alba finds her son locked inside an iron cage. Because she has difficulty opening the lock, she asks to switch positions with Daidac. But when Alba lets her guard down, Mendy attacks her and seizes their weapon, until finally Alba and Daidac are captured. Hearing Kai's constant crying, Alba begs to be allowed to breastfeed him because her child must be very hungry. Mendy allows it. When Mendy goes back to watching Daidac, Alba decides to escape while carrying Kai. Unfortunately, her action is noticed, and Mendy immediately chases her. After running quite far and the distance between them getting closer, Alba hides while breastfeeding Kai so he will not make a sound. Not long after, Mendy hears the sound of crying. After checking, it turns out the sound comes from a phone playing a video of Kai. From that, Mendy realizes that Alba is trying to free Daidac. Since she is already caught, Alba slips a folding knife into Daidac's hand when Mendy is off guard. Daidac, who manages to free himself from the ropes, immediately attacks Mendy, but his attack is not optimal because his body is still weak. Alba then picks up the fallen weapon and points it at Mendy, but because she does not shoot right away, Mendy manages to get closer. He is only shot in the shoulder and is still able to fight back. Seeing that, Daidac immediately gets up and attacks Mendy with his main weapon. A gunshot is heard, but Daidac is still strong enough to walk and hug his son. Not long after, Alba realizes that Daidac has fallen. It turns out his chest has been shot. Accepting that reality, Alba is devastated. She has to live as a single widow on this earth because of her own mistake, which is not listening to her lover's warning from the beginning not to help a stranger. A few years later, Kai grows up and has the same hobby as his father. Alba shows her son video recordings of Daidac, from their time together to the moments before Kai was born. Now Alba's purpose in life feels unclear after losing Daidac, because she cannot have another child. But she believes that Kai's existence is the first seed of humanity's continuation, born from their love.